I'm doing good, my friend. How are you?
I am, what's the word I'm looking for? Shook to the core? Is that accurate?
I love that for you, though.
You know why I'm shook to the core, but I don't think everybody else knows why I'm shook to the core quite yet. Um, so let's just say that I got some information today, a, a scan, and it just changes so much. This one bit of information, and it's wild. It like Uh, I'm still processing, but that's why you're here, right, Candace? You're going
Right.
to help me process, and we're going to talk through what the scan means, what the journey looks like, and we're going to talk through what the hell, just in general, right? That's what we're going to do?
Right. Right. Oh,
Okay.
I forgot to hit record on my other camera. Let me hit pause for 1 second.
Okay. Hiya, Issa.
Oh, Issa has exciting news about our scan journey to you guys have scan birthdays.
Issa, you got a scan today too.
Yeah, Issa
Congratulations.
got her scan today as well.
Issa, that's so cool. Hi,
Oh, and she's
Issa.
coming up. Wow.
Hello.
Yes, I got a DEXA scan today. And Issa, you
Oh,
got a DEXA
yay.
scan today too?
I did. How exciting was that?
Wildly exciting, wildly nerve wracking. It was everything. I want to discuss the scan, but I think we have to like level set a bit, right? Because these scans are crazy. Like I looked at mine, I saw some information, and that's why I have Candace here because I want to talk through this. But Issa, you got yours. I think we should all just talk through scans today. Does that sound good?
Y- yes, I have my report too. So I would love to know what it all means.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about it. But let's level set for everybody because we're going to talk about how the goals change and how the scans, how what the scans are, what the reports look like. Let's talk about all of that. Um, but I just want to start with saying that for me, everything is going to change based on that scan, right? Because I know for me, like for my goals, end up setting them just strictly based on my weight, right? Like I started at 386 pounds and I'm currently at 267. And for my goal, I was like, I'm wanting to get to a normal BMI, right? And so I was like, what does that look like? So for me, that's about 189 pounds. That's a normal BMI range. BMI is garbage, and we'll talk more about that later, obviously. But like, so I was like, let me get to 189. But then I was like, I'm that close to 200 pounds down. I'll just go to 185, and that's how I set my goal because I was just like, let me just get to a normal BMI. I'll set my goal that way, and I just went chugging along to that goal. But like this DEXA scan, it's going to change that, and I'm shook. Candace, how did you set your goal? Oh, Candace ran away. But Issa, how did you set your goal?
That's a tricky one because it's like some people are like, oh, I'll set the goal depending on what weight I was when I was in high school or before I had kids. So um, I'm trying. I have two goals. The first one
Okay.
would be 220 pounds, and then the ultimate one I would like 180 because I don't have any memory for me being below 180 ever. Yeah,
Ooh, okay.
yeah.
So you set yours at 180 because you don't have the memory of that. I set mine at 185 because I thought that was a nice round number. That's a
Yeah.
normal range. Candace, how did you set your goal initially?
Before the DEXA scan or after the DEXA scan?
Let's talk before DEXA scan. Let's talk
Oh,
before.
unreasonable expectations.
Mmm.
Like just shoot for the moon and see what happens. Like it doesn't matter to me. I wanted to be. I'm tall, 5'9", and I was like 150 would be like just horrifyingly awesome.
You're like
And
150.
that's
Let's
what
go
I
for it.
wanted for myself. But like I don't know, everything changed once I started getting the scans. I think it's changed for you today as well.
Yeah, it's absolutely changed. I'm excited to talk about it, but I think we have to acknowledge, right? So we all have our goals set in three different ways. But I think that kind of reflects this GLP-1 community pretty well. Like some people want to go normal BMI like I do. Some people have big dreams like you do, Candace. And some people are going based on memory like Issa's doing. So I think we have like a range of how the goals are set. That's pretty crazy.
And I think the fact that I've never known myself like that, that I have no idea. And my history is only based on the scale. That's the only matrix I have ever had my entire life since when I can remember hopping on the scale when I was a little kid. It was the only thing that mattered was that scale. And
Yes.
at 40 years of age, that is the only matrix I have is the scale and my pant size. And that's it.
That is absolutely it. Isn't that wild? But that's also the only metrics that we're mostly told to focus on immediately, right? It's like
So
pick a
yeah,
number, focus on the number, get to the number, and you'll be happy, right? Or
right,
get to the clothing size, you'll be happy. But we don't even know how to get to the clothing size because we think the number will get us to the size, right?
right.
So it's wild.
Yeah.
But I do know this. I know that I want to talk about how we got to a DEXA scan because I know for me, there was a conversation that's bubbling in the background, right? That on GLP-1 medications, people lose a lot of muscle mass, right? That's a conversation. But there's two things about that conversation, right? One, it's not just GLP-1s, it's just weight loss journeys in general, right? That causes that. But the other part is why is muscle so important, Candace, for us to have on this journey, just in general?
Muscle is calorically expensive. Like it
Mm,
takes your body an incredible amount of calories to hold and maintain and to build muscle. It is calorically very expensive. So when you're on a severe calorie deficit and your body will adjust, we call these the plateaus. Your body is entering an adjustment period. And it's trying, because historically humans have not had the availability of food that we have now. We didn't have drive-throughs. We were hunters and gatherers historically. And we would have died as a species if we would have had to maintain 2,000 calories a day. So
mm,
our bodies are now adapting to this calorie deficit we put ourselves in. So like, okay, you're going to give me 1,200 calories? Well, shit, I don't have 1,200 calories to give you, and I don't know if this is okay. So I'm going to take you're not really using those muscles. I'm going to take for what I need from you to
mm.
maintain your body. And what's easily obtainable is muscles. And that's why strength training is so important because strength training is the one thing that your body cannot adapt to. At the tearing down of all of the microfibers, using all of those 920 amino acids, rebuilding your muscle structure is
Mm-hmm.
hugely calorie it's a gluttony of calories that it needs to have that happen. And it's so, and you'll notice when you get your next DEXA scan, depending on your muscle gain, not your fat loss. It has your metabolic rate has shit to do with your fat loss. It
Mm-hmm.
is your muscles. If your muscles increase, you'll notice your metabolic rate increase as well because it takes more calories for your body at rest to maintain the muscles you have on your body. And as heavy people, we're lifting ourselves up. We have the muscles.
Oh
Keep
yeah,
this
I know
building
that
man
fact.
is a pain in the ass.
You know what's insanely insane about this conversation about muscles is like it bubbles in the background consistently, right? About the importance of having the muscle mass for metabolic rate
You never know
and
why.
for exactly.
We're just told it. Like we're told a lot of things, but we don't know why.
Exactly. And we also aren't told how to measure that or why or the best ways to do that, right? And so for me, I added in strength training because I was told, hey, you need to add in strength training to maintain muscle. I'm like, okay, I'm adding in strength training, but what are my measurements like beyond how much weight I'm tossing up, right? Like,
Right.
what are my measurements? And so that's kind of what led me to think, how do I measure differently? What do I measure beyond the scale? Right? There are smart scales out there that use some form of measurement to try to estimate like muscle mass. They're wildly inaccurate, but like
I'm
they
glad
try
that
to
you
do measurements.
brought that up. So not only is the smart skills we have in our house wildly inaccurate, it's a good basis. It's good to have some kind. Like, it's good to be aware of it. They're wildly
Mm-hmm.
off. But even so immediately following my last DEXA scan, I went to a nutrition clinic here that I have a relationship with, and I got one of those ones, the total body ones, where you stand up in the machine, you hold the handlebars, you can't
Yes.
move for a second. 8.5% off on almost every single metric.
That is insanity. Why is it that off? It's the method. It's got to be the method. But
Because
that
you can't see inside your body. It's closer. It's a lot closer than your home scale.
it's a
But
lot closer. But
still
yeah, I can't see
wildly
inside.
off. It doesn't know if you how much water you've just drank. It just can't. It's just not. It's not a medical scan.
And that's why we do DEXAs. That's why at least I did a DEXA scan, right? So full disclosure, I saw a video from Candace about her DEXA scan results and about this mobile clinic that's actually in my city of Austin. And there's a link. I was like, oh, I got to do this because I need the data. Because I'm a data person. I need to know the information. And so I went to Candace's link and I signed up. I think if the link is still in her link tree, check it out. But y'all,
And it's incredibly affordable. Like
it's so
I
affordable.
needed to have a DEXA scan. I needed it, and I was looking into options, and I needed it, and it's incredibly affordable. How much is it, Jay?
It was $49 for me.
$49. And I think if you use the code, it was like 39.
Yeah, it brought it down. Like it was wild. Like I assumed the DEXA scan would be like $200, $300 a pop, but
Right.
it was so affordable. It was wild.
Yeah.
It was absolutely affordable. But so that's why I chose to get a DEXA scan because I needed a baseline for the strength training I was going to do, and because I also knew my home scale wasn't accurate. That's why I chose to get a DEXA scan. Why did you choose to get one, Issa?
Well, like the same reason I saw it in her link tree, but then I've always been interested in building more muscle because I do not want a lot of loose skin, and I also didn't want to do the surgery. So that's why I've been doing strength training for about 8 years now. So it was very interesting for me to see that I actually do have muscle, but it's just hiding under all of the fluffiness. But at least I know that my 8 years were not in vain. And so now my goal is to actually build more muscles so that it fills in the skin that's beginning to hang so that it could lift the skin up, and then it's no longer loose or it doesn't look flabby. It'll be pumped up with muscle. So that is my ultimate goal. But I also like the fact that it was very fast because I'm claustrophobic, and I was very scared.
Sure.
Yeah, so
7 minutes.
I booked the appointment really early in the morning. That way I didn't have to think about it all day. Appointment was 8 o'clock in the morning. I was there at 7:45. And it only took about 7 to 10 minutes in there, just laying still, and that was it. So
It
I
was
was
so
very pleased.
easy, right?
Very easy.
Oh my god, and they were friendly too. I don't know about when you went, but like I walked up and they were like, "Are you Jay?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I am." They were so good. I loved it.
Yeah,
It was a good
very friendly
experience.
tech. Yeah.
But for people that don't know, let me get this right because I did look this up because I didn't know what it stood for. I just thought it was a cute like name, but DEXA actually stands for something. Okay,
Dual
it stands
energy.
for.
Go ahead.
You
No, go
got
ahead.
it? Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but dual energy X-ray absorptiometry. Woo,
That's the one I can't get. That's what I was like, go ahead, because I can't get that last word.
The dual energy X-ray absorptiometry. We're gonna go for that.
Yeah, also known as a BMD, a bone mineral density test.
Yes. So it's known as both of those. And Candace, you've had a DEXA scan before. So what's the science behind this?
Well, it's kind of like a low frequency like CT scan. So it has two impulses of energy going into your body. The scan is mainly for bone density, right? But it has this other benefit of being able to measure all your soft tissue, all your fat tissue, along with that's what your mental report is also in your scan. And so it's just a low intensity type of X-ray, to put it really simply. They can imagine. I can show you my scan. I can show everybody.
Yeah, definitely. And I know I looked it up because I'm always curious about this, but about radiation levels because I'm that person. But the radiation levels are so low for a DEXA scan, you get more radiation taking a cross country flight than you would doing a DEXA scan.
Oh, that's great. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it uses very low radiation X-rays.
So they give you a pep talk.
Yeah, they do.
They give you then I did this on my black and white printer, so it's not on color and fancy. But I have a video on my YouTube page if you want to see it, like me actually hopping in the dumb machine. But they tell you basically don't jump. You're about to see you and all of your fat laid on a flat table on a hard surface, and they're going to show you a very detailed picture. And let me tell you, my first scan, the guy's like, move a little to the left. No, to the right. No, to the left. No,
Yes, they have me hop.
just tell me I'm too fat for the machine. It's okay. I can take it.
I got
And
scooch
watch,
an inch
watch,
up
shit,
towards your head. I was like, how do I scooch an inch up towards my head?
Look at my beautiful body.
Lovely. Oh, I have my report. You have yours as well, Issa?
I do, but I did not. I was not brave enough to print it. It's just very hidden in my phone.
I have my
What is it?
report.
Though.
If Candace is going to show hers, I'll show mine. I'll show mine.
Awesome.
Okay. 1 second. Okay. Of course, this is a moment where it takes 12 seconds for my Google internet to load
Oh, it's okay.
because I want y'all to see this because it's a gorgeous
There are
rainbow
Jay's
of colors.
ripped. Jay's body is ripped. You got to see all the muscles Jay has. Mine is all fat. Jay's is raw.
I mean, I saw the shorts he was wearing, so no surprise.
Right? Right?
Oh my god.
And the fact that you get the report within an hour, well, I got it within an hour from the time that I left.
I wait in the parking lot because I had to go all the way to Los Angeles. I wait in the parking lot.
Oh, for
Okay.
me, it
I
took about 12 minutes for my report to
That's
come.
exactly how long mine takes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was not expecting it. I drove from getting my scan done to the gym, and by the time I was in the gym parking lot, it was there, and I sat in the car just going through like the report and sending Candace text messages. I was like, "What am I looking at?"
That
I was like,
Well,
"What am I
granted,
looking at?"
I had mine done in LA, so there was a line. So there's a lot of people being scanned. So yeah.
That's good though, because
Yeah.
I got more information from this scan than I have gotten my entire journey that I've been on for almost 14 months at this point about my body. Like before this, all I knew about my body I got from my smart scale, right? And that's all the information I had. And of course, there's some details like it tries to give you an estimate of bone density, it tries to give you an estimate of fat percentage, it tries to give you a lean muscle mass estimate. It tries really hard.
It
And I
tries
love
to
it for
give
that.
you an estimate of your basal metabolic rates. Your that's a really key one.
Yes.
And the DEXA scan gives you exactly.
Mm.
And
And
how
they-
much did we calculate yours was off by 10.42 pounds per year of potential gains or losses?
Yes, between the tdeecalculator.net and what the number I got from my report, it's about 100 calorie difference.
Yeah.
And that came up to the 10.42
42
pounds.
pounds per year of difference. If you take the standard 3,800 calories equals 1 pound.
Yes. And that's a big difference.
Huge. And if you're operating on a calorie deficit of 500 and yours is off by literally 20%, that's a huge difference. 20%.
I'm
That's
scared to
20%.
think about operating on that difference, right? Like the choices I would be making. Okay, my scan's up. Okay, here we go. Here's mine in all its blobness. Check
Look
it
at
out.
those muscles.
So the purple is adipose tissue. So look at all that lovely fat. I'm a hippie person, apparently. I'm a hippie. But also the orange is the muscle and the white is the bone, obviously. So yeah. But that's me. My calves aren't too bad. Look at that.
I know I told you you have an amazing calves. There's like nothing. But you know what's weird? I always find because you have it too. Why do we have so much fat in the bottom of our feet? Look at the bottom of your feet.
I saw that.
I was like, what the hell is that?
But that also explains why people are changing shoe size on this journey.
Right? That's true.
Because if
That's
they're losing
true.
fat at the bottom of their feet.
Because I guess when you step on it, it squishes outwards. Yeah, because I have it too. I'm like, hard blow.
I
Mm-hmm.
haven't looked at my feet. I'll have to do that after this.
Oh, it's there.
Oh, it is.
There.
So the DEXA scan, we talked a little bit about the fact that it gives some numbers like BMR and bone density. But Candace, quick rundown. What's a litany of numbers that we get from this report? Where's some of the numbers that we get?
Well, I didn't even take, because I'm not of that age yet that I will be. The reason this whole test is the bone density. Just knowing that number, because in America we are one of the most we have a higher instance of osteoporosis than just about any other civilized, not so, I don't know, first world country per se. Your adipose tissue, how much each individual leg runs, and I like it that on the test, like when you get your second test, you're gonna get your exact differences of everything, so you can see your improvements in a different way. In a different way. So I know that you're going to touch on this, but I've approached the way my relationship with the scale completely different, because it's not about that number anymore. I got the new upgraded version. I got new numbers that I'm searching for.
Oh, I love that. You have new numbers you're searching for. Because as you said earlier, we've been focused, most of us, just on the scale, that one number, the pounds, right? I mean, on GLP-1s, a lot of us are also looking at things like A1C, that number, cholesterol, all that. But the number we can focus on regularly is a scale, and we focus on that to a fault, I think. Because my DEXA scan says that I focus on it to a fault, and I'm also focusing on it incorrectly. So I want to talk about that.
And
So
another thing too on that scan is it has your VAT numbers. That's that fat encasing right around your vital organs that's responsible for a lot of problematic diseases, especially
visceral fat.
diabetes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it has that, and you can see month to month how that changes, and that's the ultimate goal, to get that stuff up. That helps contribute to our fatty liver disease and to diabetes and to just so much terrible things for our organs.
That's insanity. Like, we have visceral fat, and this is a really good way to measure that and to help us know how much we need to focus on getting rid of that, right? Because you need that to have a healthy level of visceral fat to protect the organs. But if you have too much of the visceral fat, you're causing problems. Like, there's a balance,
Yeah.
But the numbers that I'm seeing on the scan, let me just run off a list of numbers. I'm seeing body fat percentage. I'm seeing total body fat. I'm seeing fat pounds, fat percentage, lean tissue number, so the weight of your lean tissue, your bone mineral content. I'm seeing a basal metabolic rate. I'm seeing the VAT number, which is the visceral fat. There's just so much information. Y'all, this test is so wild. Like, even for your muscles, they tell how balanced your right and left arms are, and your left and right legs in terms of fat buildup. It's insanity. Like, it's so good. It's so good. It's so much information to process. I know it took me close to an hour to try to get through everything to focus on it. Issa, how long did it take
He's texting you in the background like a wild person. Tell me what it says.
Yeah.
Issa was at least polite and sent me hers.
I was like, can you please figure this out for me? I have no idea. I took the pictures. Can you please translate? Like,
Jay and I had just decided to go live, and I was like, Jay, we got another one.
I love that we did it the same day, Issa. I absolutely love that.
I know, that's awesome. Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah. I still don't know what it all means.
I have another one Tuesday.
Ooh, you have another one Tuesday?
Yeah.
Oh, that's soon.
Yeah.
So
no, I have to get them every month.
I got you. I'm going to do mine, I think, every 3 months is what I'm aiming for.
That's good.
Yeah.
But how, so taking this information in, like, how have you, like, I know it's only been a few hours, but how have you changed? Like, what's different today than it was yesterday for you?
Not today from yesterday, but what's different from when I woke up today than now? Is that different. So this is just set the stage. This is what has changed on this journey for me right now. I have to change my goal weight because my goal weight would literally unalive me if I tried to reach that goal. I can't have that goal weight. Two, I realized that I need to figure out the fat percentage that's going to work for my body, and that has to be my primary focus. Also, I realized that I'm using some really good tools to measure my caloric intake because the estimates of my deficit are good. And so I have some good estimates, and so that's okay. But yeah, my journey might be over a lot sooner than I thought because I thought that I had about 82 pounds to go.
Okay, and now?
It may be anywhere because I'm still processing and still
Okay.
figuring some things out, but it may be down to 45 to 50 pounds left.
Shut up.
Just because I have the data. The data changes everything.
Okay, I'm gonna send you my report so you could figure that out. And I want to be optimistic too.
That is game changing.
It's absolutely game changing. So this is why. Okay. So remember the conversation that we had a second ago about how I set my goal. I want to be a normal BMI. So a normal BMI would be for me around 189 pounds.
Right.
But then I was like, I'm so close to 200 pounds down at that point. Let's just go for 200. That's how we got to 185. So that's just a number. Like I was like, I'm gonna get to 185. That would be my body weight. But y'all, body weight is not just fat, right? Body weight is composition. It's your muscles, it's your internal organs, it's your bones, it's your fat. It's all of it. Y'all, just my lean muscle, that weight with just lean muscle and bones is approximately 180 pounds.
Let's go.
That's my lean.
You'd be like 1% body fat if you tried to get to your goal weight.
I calculated it would be 4.4% fat. Y'all, there are people with 4.4% body fat, but that's not a lifestyle I strive for. That's not what I want. But I had never thought about that because I assumed by the time I got to 185, I would still be at like 20% fat, 15% fat. No. Baby, I got muscles under here apparently. So, you know.
Doesn't that motivate you to want to keep them so much more?
Yes. Yes, I definitely have got to keep this muscle mass. I have to keep this muscle mass. So that means I'm going to keep my protein levels up, right? I'm going to keep my strength training. And y'all, I have to be honest with you. I just started strength training in January, added to the mix, right? And so what that means for me is that I haven't started the real work of muscle building yet. So the likelihood is that I'm going to gain muscle. So it's going to be more than 180 pounds of muscle. And so what that means for me is that I need to, when I'm thinking of a goal weight to stop my journey at and to go into maintenance, I have to assume that I'm going to gain muscle. I'm not going to assume, actually. I'm going to have DEXA scans to back it up. So I'll know. But like when I try a number I'm aiming for in my head, it's going to be based on my lean muscle mass plus the fat percentage. So my journey is going to start focusing on actually dropping my fat percentage. So right now it's 32.5%. I need to do more research. But for men who are over 40 or between 40 and 59, I believe the number, I have a number here. Give me a second. So that number that is considered healthy for men of that age range is 11 to 21% body fat. That's the healthy range. So I'm thinking between 15 and 18% will be my goal.
I love it.
So if I can cut my fat in half, my body fat in half, that'll give me around 15 to 16%.
That's crazy. You just shortened your journey today.
I shortened my journey.
You shortened your journey for $39.
For $39.
$39.
And some data. That's all it took.
7 minutes of your time.
That's it. I got more information and I know better. Like if y'all, I would have thought I was a failure if I didn't have this information.
Right.
Because I may have never reached 185 pounds with 180 pounds of muscle, because dropping to 4% body fat, that's beyond elite athlete status. And I am not an elite athlete, y'all. I'm barely coordinated. That's not my life.
What? I love that for you. It's such positive news.
It's such good news. And I feel like I can breathe easier, because the mental gap between saying I have 82 pounds to lose to I have 45 to 50 pounds to lose, that's a whole different ball game.
And it's so obtainable.
I'm down 118 pounds in under 14 months. Yeah, I can do 40 more.
Yeah.
Trust. I can do that.
Out even blinking. I really like it that there's, so every time, so my test is on Tuesday, right? And that's all I care about. I hop on the scale for formality reasons every day. I go to the restroom, I hop on the scale, and then I go about my day. But like the only thing I focus on is Tuesday. And I work harder because it's on Tuesday. I cannot wait. And like, I know my last scan had psychotic numbers, but I have high expectations for high numbers on this next scan. Not high numbers on fat loss. Like I can do that at my house. On the muscle gains, because I want that metabolic rate to increase to give me more of a calorie allowance every single day. So I know exactly what I'm working with. I'm hoping for 3 pounds. We shall see on Tuesday, but it makes me work harder.
You had a pretty wild muscle gain recently, didn't you?
Yeah, it was wild. Google, and I quote, so we all know what fat loss is, right? We know what we can lose healthily or unhealthily in 1 month. We know what that number is we can say for anybody, like, oh, how much have you lost? Oh, I lost this much in a month. Oh, either crazy, mid, or whatever. But we don't know what muscle gain is. So I'm sitting there in the parking lot after I had my scan, and I have no reference. It said I gained 6 pounds of muscle, 6 pounds even. And I'm like, what do I do with this information? So I go to Google. I'm like, is 6 pounds of muscle gain in a month good? Because I'm hitting this catalyst suit 3 times a week, and it is intense. And I Googled it, and Google's basically like, you're probably on steroids. It's not possible. So I was like, yeah, that's the kind of stuff I want. That is a positive reinforcement I need in my life, Google. Thank you.
I absolutely love that. So you gained that in a month. And I'm thinking, with my additional strength training and my protein intake, I can aim to just gain 5 more pounds of muscle, and then to set my goal weight from there and kind of make that. But of course, the goal weight is going to be based on my body fat percentage. So if I'm going to have 185 pound body weight, lean muscle mass weight, right? With lean muscle mass and bone, 185 pounds, and then I do 15% from there, that would get me to how much? Somebody math it for me.
Yeah, you don't do math. I'm just going to come up real quick. I just got a couple of things to say. Candace, that's incredible. That kind of muscle gain in a month is that is wild. So congratulations on that. Jay, there's a couple of people in the chat that have been asking, what is a DEXA scan? Like, could you explain the process? Is it in water? Did you get in a machine? What is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can discuss that again. Absolutely. Sorry. We're just so shook by the process here and the numbers. Yeah, we'll go back into it. Candace, the DEXA scan. It's, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a low-level X-ray that scans your body mass, right? It was originally designed to measure bone density. And with that bone density measurement, it's also able to measure the muscle and tissue and the fat as well, correct? And right. With those estimates of the muscle tissue and fat, you can also calculate things like your basal metabolic rate, your BMR.
Extremely accurately, too. Like, this is the gold standard test. The only test that's higher in accuracy would be an MRI. Mm-hmm. And the company is like, this is not available in all areas. This is only available in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Dallas, Austin, Seattle, Tacoma, and I think that there's one other city because there's 5. I'm missing one, but it's on. It's available in those cities, and it makes it the most affordable option. But you simply show up to your appointment, you mm-hmm. get in line, you have a 5-minute window to either get there or don't, because they don't mess around with the time slots. You lay down on a table, and you have this arm. You have an arm.
Wait, back it up. You don't lay down on a table. You climb up on the table.
So yeah, Jay a little bit.
You climb up on the table and you scooch around a bit.
They throw you the ladder down. You scurry up.
Exactly.
Separates them.
And then it scans you from above.
Yeah, it's just an arm that goes right over the top of you, and it just scans you. It just goes real slow. You can close your eyes for the first part of it, and you just lay still. And once it passes your hips, you can move that part of your area. And then that's it, 7 minutes.
Yep, you just got to be still for 7 minutes.
Jackson.
That's it. Just be still for 7 minutes, and it does all the magic. And Issa says that she's claustrophobic, but how did you feel in that machine? Did you feel claustrophobic? Because it's
Not
just
at
the
all.
arm.
Yeah,
So-
it's just the arm. I was not claustrophobic in there. The air conditioning was great. It's just a very small piece of metal that goes very high above your face. So it's not anywhere like MRI or a CAT scan, anything like that. No, you would not be claustrophobic in there. And you could wear gym clothes as long as it doesn't have metal, but no birthday suit will.
Yeah.
Other people have to go after you, Will. Every excuse you have to take your clothes
They're
off.
not disinfecting like that.
Yeah, so just gym clothes that doesn't have metal. Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah. And they tell you empty your pockets, take off your glasses, all that stuff. So no metal. Mm-hmm. And how closely did it measure to the Renfo scale? The Renfo scale was about 20 pounds off when it came to muscle. The Renfo scale was about 4 percentage points off when it comes to body fat. And so
How about
Renfo
your resting rate? What was it off on that? Do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head for that. I don't.
The cost for the first scan, if you use the code in my link tree, is $39. And then after that, you can sign up for it monthly. If you don't want to do it monthly, you just cancel. And then you can redo your subscription to every 3 months or every 6 months, or just that one scan. But the most cost-effective way is to sign it up for it to get for $39. And then you can immediately cancel that after you book your appointment. But if you want to keep on going, like I get them every single month. You can go bi-monthly if you wanted to. And it's $39 a month for that way. And then they have other packages where you can do it every, Jay, you're on a 3-month program. Is that what you're on?
Yeah, I'm getting it every 3 months because I ignored costs. I looked at convenience for me because I'm not going to remember to cancel. So for me, it's like $49 a month or $49 every 3 months. And so that's not terrible, right? You know, it's $49 every 3 months. And I made that goal for every 3 months for a scan because I know with my activity level that there may not be as drastic changes month to month. But Candace is working with in an amazing suit and doing some awesome stuff that is actually seeing some wild results like every month.
Yeah, I'm sponsored by a company called Catalyst. It's a full body EMS suit. So I couldn't in good faith like tell people to buy this suit that costs more than a Peloton if I didn't have data to say that it actually works. Because I have a C6 and C7 impingement, and so I can't do traditional exercise. I can't even do like the leg things because it messes with my spine. And I'm finally, because of the Tirzepatide, I'm finally pain free, and I'm just not going to mess with it. So in order to be able to tell people that this suit's amazing, it has to prove itself that it's actually amazing. So it's an EMS suit. It's you ever it's kind of like a TENS unit, but not a TENS unit. It's just really complicated, almost like BDSM looking suit thing. You strap in. I feel like the cops.
Strap in.
We were at summer camp, and she's like, "You look like the police." You strap into it, and it does full muscle. You know, it's only FDA cleared to do it every 72. I think it's 56 hours. So every 2.5 days, you can do it again on the full muscle contractions, but it's full. Bradley Cooper swears by the suit. He's not sponsored by the company. He was on a podcast. He's like, that's how I maintain this body. I'm like, oh. So they got Bradley Cooper and then they got me. I'm like, okay.
He's a nice lean fella. I trust.
I'm their first fat. But no, it's absolutely incredible. And like you're just doing simple movements and your body, it feels like I'm trying to like lift a piano. I can't, and if you time it wrong, you get locked up. You lose that focus or control of your arm. It's absolutely insane. But that's the only exercise that I did. So I got a DEXA scan before I started using the suit. That was the purpose of this whole thing. I think as overweight people, we're only focused on the number on the scale. And I think when we hear, oh, you got to eat protein, or you have to strength train, or you're going to lose muscle mass, I particularly didn't care, because the only thing I cared about was the scale moving. I didn't really care how it moved. I just wanted it to move. And so people keep saying it and saying it and saying it, but I never understood why. And then I ultimately work less hard because my body needs more calories to keep what it has. I just didn't, none of that clicked for me until I started getting this scan.
I gotta be honest, up until approximately 5 hours ago, that's what I was thinking too. Up until 5 hours ago, I was like, the number on the scale is what I'm focused on, because I've never been in a smaller body, so I can't imagine the body goal to stop at, right? Like I can't say, look in the mirror, this is what you want your body to look like, and that's when you stop, because I've never seen myself in a smaller body. But I can focus on a number and kind of hit a goal that way, right? But the way I was calculating it was way off. The scan told me that, because I wanted to be 185 pounds, because I was like, that's just a 200-pound loss. I can do this, you know? But no, my body says that's not where you should be. My body says, look, I'm holding you up with 180 pounds of muscle right here, right now. Like, what are you planning? Like, my body says that's crazy. The numbers say that's crazy. Like, yeah, so now my goals have changed in 5 hours. Like, the scale cannot be the most important part. The scale can validate, right? The scale can say, okay, your DEXA scan says, okay, you're still maintaining your muscle, and your goal was to do 15 to 18%. Are you within that range? And I can use the scale to help validate, but the DEXA scan is going to be my go-to baseline. It's got to be.
And when I met with it, when I keep meeting with these Catalyst people, and they don't know what our world's like, right? Nobody on their team is remotely pinch an inch, right? You could bounce quarters. That's the entire team. They are a fitness company that focuses on just, ultra elite type of bodies. This is a new world that they're just like kind of coming into. But when I was meeting with them, they help reinforce, because we say it all the time. Protein, 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 protein. But they were getting into like why it's so damn important, and to how like those amino acids and the quality of protein, not necessarily like if you do what type of protein you do, but just making sure it has all 9 amino acids, because of the breakdown structure of how the muscles tear down and how they use all of those amino acids to add to your other 12 amino acids that your body makes naturally to rebuild the muscles that you need. They're the ones that drilled it into me, these like gym bros, that how important because I was like, well, how am I going to know this thing works? First of all, is it going to electrocute me? How am I going to know this thing works? And they're like, well, it's not going to work if you don't get the protein. They just told me straight up, like, don't expect great results if you don't get your protein. They didn't care about water, none of the other stuff. The only thing those men cared about was protein.
And if y'all don't know, in the GLP-1 community, we are also protein evangelists. You got to get protein in if you're going to see positive results of maintaining your muscle, which we know why we need to maintain it now. And also if you want the satiety to be as strong as it needs to be, and if you just want to lose the weight so your body has something to burn besides carbs and your own muscle. Because remember, your own muscle is the easy thing for it to grab if it needs the protein. So by supplementing, you're helping yourself out, right, Candace?
Right, 100%.
Yeah.
We're not designed. The muscle is really, I said it before, but I'll say it again. Muscle is very calorie expensive, and if we're in a calorie deficit and you're not utilizing those muscles, your body is going to get rid of what it doesn't need to try to, like, it thinks it's dying, and that we're never going to get food again. Like, it's going to grab what takes the most amount of, what costs the most amount of money, and to your body, that's muscles.
And speaking of muscles, I have to be honest with everybody that's watching that from the very beginning of my journey, I've been getting movement in, and I've been hitting my protein goals. And I think that plays a huge role in the reason why I'm at 180. I mean, and genetics, obviously, but I still believe those play a huge role in like the way that I have maintained muscle. I probably had more muscle mass at some point, but having 180 pounds of muscle at this point, that's a huge deal. To be a year into a weight loss journey and still have 180 pounds of muscle, like I think that's a testament to please get your movement in, people. Get your strength training in. Get your protein in. Please do it.
Yeah, that's incredible numbers, actually.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see if you can consult with like a doctor or something and see if those numbers trend and how far on the curve that you are because you maintain strength training and you incorporated protein properly.
I wish I had the scan earlier, to be honest, so I had that baseline. But because Body Spec is so great, link in Candace's link tree, of course. But because they're so great, they have a comparative report, and compared to other people within my age range, which is men between 34 to 44, and it says for my lean muscle, my lean mass, I am at the I have higher average lean mass than 95% of people.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And I'm fatter than I have more fat on me than all but like 8% of people or something like that.
Don't worry, I balanced that out. I have more body fat than 13% of people, but that lean muscle mass still has me up there. So okay. I'm gonna take my win.
No, that's a huge win. That's a lot of muscles, Jay.
But this also goes back to BMI is garbage. So if you don't know, you have to have a 24.9 BMI or between 20 and 24.9 to be considered normal weight range, right? With just my lean mass, my BMI will be 23.6. With just my lean mass.
Oh my gosh.
And so to get to a normal BMI, my body fat percentage would have to be wildly low to maintain a normal BMI. So
but here's the good news in that number is that you will always qualify for your medication.
Because baby, I'm about to always be overweight. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, and rocking it.
I'm gonna be overweight and happy.
And muscular.
Right? I'm gonna be overweight and happy with it. And that is a change from 5 hours ago. That is a change. 5 hours ago, I thought my goal was to be in the normal BMI range. I really did.
So now your goal is to be in the healthy fat body percentage range.
Yes.
So what is your new goal fat percentage? So
I need to do research because this is all new information, but I'm thinking that I want my goal fat percentage to be between 15 and 18%. Between 15 and 18%.
Since mine is so high, mine is I started off at 47.1%. So I was basically 50% fluffy. I would not sink in the ocean. And now it's 43.6%. And I'm thinking
working your way down.
I need to do research too. The only thing I care about is that number going down. And I know I had a crazy loss. And here's another thing to take into the math is I know how much weight I lost, but it's going to be really interesting to reconfigure that, knowing like, okay, I lost 14 pounds this month, right? And but then I gained like 3 pounds of muscle. You got to take that into consideration too. So would I be happier with the 17 pounds of loss, or am I happier with 14 pounds of fat loss and 3 pounds of muscle gain? Because I would actually take 8 pounds of loss and the muscle gain, so I can have the increase in my basal metabolic rate, so I can have a better metabolic just processing of everything. So it opened me up to be able to take in more calories.
Yes. Speaking of calories, yeah, it measures your BMR. I know I checked mine against the TDEE calculator, and the report from the DEXA scan gave me 100 extra calories to play with. And
And my
cheers
first
to
scan,
100 extra
cheers.
calories.
My first scan was 203 calories off per day. And my second scan was on the TDE calculator online. It was 203 calories off per day. And then my second scan that I got was, I think, 147 calories off per day, which equivalated to, like, I think, given the normal 3,800 calories, 35, what is it, 38 or 3,500 calories?
35.
3,500 calories equals 1 pound. It was, I think it was off about, it was like 15.6 potential gain or loss per year.
That's a lot.
No, DEXA scan is the actual process of what we're getting. So we're getting a DEXA scan. It stands for what? Because you have to fill in the last word, Jay. Dual energy X-ray. Then you go.
Absorptiometry.
Absorptiometry. I can still not be able to say it. Or a BDM. It's a bone mineral density test. But the company that we're going through is Body Spec. It's available in San Francisco, Seattle, Tacoma, Los Angeles, Austin, Texas, Dallas, and I know I'm missing one because I thought there was 5 cities.
It's Dallas Fort Worth, so you know.
Dallas Fort Worth, maybe that's it.
Yeah,
and it's $39 a month for the first scan, and then whatever plan you did. Jay's on a 3-month plan, so it's $49 every 3 months for him. I get a monthly because I have to. And Issa, how often are you getting them?
I signed up for bi-weekly, so my next one will be in August, right before my birthday.
Bi-monthly?
No, bi-monthly, yeah.
Okay, I was about to say, Issa was about to go all in. I love
it. Issa!
No, bi-monthly, yeah. So I figured right before my birthday, I want to know where I'm at, yeah.
So, Issa, your numbers from your scan, let's talk about them a little bit. So, what's your current lean muscle mass versus your original goal?
Well, see, here's the thing. They're on my phone, and I can't look at them.
Oh, no, they're on my phone, too. I have the other phone.
Yeah, so I can't view them. But so, you know, you were saying that it compares you to the other people in our age range, right? So I am in menopause now, so I was very concerned about my bone density. And I am in the green, so I was very happy about that. So I'm in the high percentage. Yeah. And then my another thing, I was talking to the tech while he was scanning, and then so I told him that, you know, sometimes I get frustrated because I don't lose as fast as other people are losing. And then he told me that that's why these scans are good, for especially for people that lose less a week, let's say, because the thing is that if you're working in building muscle, of course you're gaining the weight of the muscle, and it's not going to show as a lesser number on the scale. So you have to consider that. But like we were saying, we don't have a baseline.